Hello everyone, this is Disha from Sri Venkateshwara College of Engineering. This video is all about the human brain architecture. The contents covered in this video are introduction to the human brain, composition of the brain, left and right brain, brain cells, lobes, interior brain, and the memory. The brain is an amazing organ that controls all the functions and also coordinates the activities performed by the body, and it plays a major role in interpreting the information from the outside world and makes us sensible also. Then brain governs the few other things such as intelligence, creativity, memory, and emotions. So brain is mainly protected within the skull and has three main sections like cerebrum, cerebellum, and the brainstem. The human nervous system is mainly controlled by the human brain. The brain receives the information or the senses from the sensory organs and gives the output to the muscles, which results in the action or any activity accordingly. The brain receives the information through five senses: sight, smell, touch, taste, and hearing. Sometimes all these are sensed simultaneously. The brain controls our thoughts, memory, and speech, movement of our arms and legs, and the function of many other organs of our body. The brain is composed of three main sections, that is cerebrum, cerebellum, and the brainstem. The cerebrum is the largest portion of the brain and is composed of right and the left hemisphere. It also performs some of the higher functions such as interpreting the informations of touch, vision, hearing, and speech, reasoning, emotions. Cerebellum. It is located under the cerebrum and it performs the functions like muscle movement, maintain the posture and the balance of the body. Brainstem. It acts as a relay center connecting the cerebrum and the cerebellum to the spinal cord and performs some of the automatic functions such as breathing, body temperature, digestion, sneezing, and etc. The cerebrum is divided into right hemisphere and the left hemisphere. These two hemispheres are connected by a bundle of fibers called as corpus callosum, and this corpus callosum will also perform a function of transmitting the message from one hemisphere to the other hemisphere. And the two hemispheres will control the opposite side of the body. For example, if there is a stroke in the right side of the brain, then the left arms and the legs get paralyzed. And each hemisphere has its specific functions, such as left hemisphere is dominant for the hand use and the right hemisphere controls the creativity, special ability, artistic and musical skills, and the corpus callosum will transmit the message from this side of the brain to the other side. Brain cells. The neurons are the most common type of the brain cells. The average human being contains 86 billion of neurons. At one, each one is connected to at least one another, and there are 100 trillion of connections inside the brain. At one end, each neuron has a cell body surrounded by a dendrite branches, and an axon connects the cell body to the axon terminal at the other end of the neuron. The neurons transmit electrical signals called impulse. They flow through the axon from the dendrites and the cell body towards the axon terminal. Impulses jumps from the axon end of one neuron to the dendrite of the another neuron. To do this, the signal has to pass through a small gap called as synapses. Traveling from neuron to neuron, impulses move between the brain regions of at the different speed. Then there is a fatty covering called as myelin sheath. This is made up of the protein or the fatty substances. This myelin sheath will allow the electrical impulse to pass quickly and efficiently through the nerve cell. The cerebrum has four main lobes: frontal lobe, parietal lobe, temporal lobe, and occipital lobe. The frontal lobe is located at the front of the brain and also includes the motor strip. The parietal lobe sits back of the brain. It is located behind the frontal lobe and in front of the occipital lobe. The parietal lobe is responsible for sensing proprioception. Then the occipital lobe is found at the back of the brain. It contains the visual cortex, which allows you to interpret the color, movement, light. The two sides of the visual cortex process images contralaterally. Then the temporal lobe runs the full width of your brain behind your temples. It is responsible for learning, memory, understanding language, and organization. The hypothalamus links the nervous system to the endocrine system. The endocrine system is one which is responsible for secreting the brain hormones and controlling the pituitary glands. The pituitary gland is found below the hypothalamus and a part of the endocrine system. It plays a key role in human development. In fact, the pituitary gland is the control center for all the hormones gland in the body. The epithalamus is located behind the hypothalamus. The epithalamus contains the pineal gland, which helps to regulate the body's internal clock by secreting an hormone called melatonin. This regulates your body's circadian rhythms and they help you to know when to wake up and when to go to sleep. The four parts of the brain which are closely related to the memory are amygdala, hippocampus, cerebellum, and prefrontal cortex. The amygdala mainly regulates the fear and aggression. It helps to store the memory which are related to emotions, and it also recognizes these memories based on the stress hormones produced when you feel angry or afraid. The hippocampus is involved in recognition and the spatial memory. This part of the brain also helps you to give the memory meaning and connect with the other memories. Then cerebellum and the prefrontal cortex helps to consolidate the procedural memory, motor learning and conditioned responses. Different parts of the prefrontal cortex are associated with storing and retrieving the informations. And this concludes the brain architecture. Thank you for watching this video. Please do like, share and subscribe.